amazing messages effectively with the world. Now, speaking of world and speaking of change, we've got a final speaker for you. Now, the name is Ria Hartley. So, big round of applause for Ria, everybody! Now, Ria is an established artist, academic and educator based in Salford, UK. They have taught and led in creative practice since 2008, alongside developing methods for personal transformation, integration and healing through their artworks. Ria was an associate lecturer in BA Theatre at Falmouth University, 2010, and was visiting artist lecturer for BA Theatre, Performance and Plymouth University as well. So highly qualified. Now, Ria grew up in a domestic violent household, which heavily impacted on their mental, emotional and physical health and well-being. Through a commitment to lifelong recovery, Ria learned the patterns of behaviour are easily repeated, but do not have to dictate the future of one's life. In living through the repercussions of childhood trauma, Ria shares a personal message to inspire the dreams and imaginations of adults and children who have and are experiencing domestic abuse. Ria is a queer, non-binary trans person of colour, their pronouns as they, them. With a speech entitled, "Look No Further," it's Ria, everybody!
On the 18th of May, 2013, I got married to myself. It was a very traditional Anglican wedding. I wore a beautiful white gown with a fitted bodice that went in at the waist and flared out into a long skirt with a train. I held a bouquet of yellow roses to represent joy, wisdom, and optimism. I had a giant cupcake as a wedding cake, and I wore a handmade ring. I walked down the aisle to Nina Simone's "I'm Feeling Good." And as my mother gave me away to myself, I stood next to the celebrant, looking at the audience of family and friends who had come to support me despite their confusion. That day, I vowed to learn how to love myself and to take seriously the gift of being alive. I grew up in a domestic violent household. I was the child carer and protector of my younger siblings. We witnessed many acts of violence. We went hungry and we were neglected. I suffered racism and biphobia at school. I was bullied and beaten and spat at. I was groomed as a child, and I was raped when I was 16. I suffered many breakdowns and suicide attempts from the age of 11. The violence at home affected my education. I was told that I was stupid, disruptive, and my head of year said to me, "You will never amount to anything in your life." And I left school with no qualifications. When things became unbearable in the house, I used to sit in a cardboard box in the shed outside. It made me feel safe. In the box, I had a blanket, a torch, and a notebook. And here, I would dream of another life, far, far away from this one. And I would express my visions and secret worlds onto the pages of the book. And I'd only share this with myself. When I was 17, my abuser pushed me down the stairs and left me bleeding from the head at the bottom. I woke up in hospital. I was lucky to be alive. This was a wake-up call. When your life is taken out of your own hands, you start to realize how fragile and precious it is. I made a decision to leave. And I worked hard to support myself. I got over my addictions, and when I was 21, I took myself to college. And there, I was encouraged to go to university, and this changed my life completely. I went on to do a master's degree, and then a teaching degree. And I became a lecturer at a university. I could hardly believe that this has become my life. And everything looked like I was doing great on the outside. But behind closed doors, I was in relationships with people who would abuse me. And when I was 29, I found myself back in the hospital with the same head injury I had when I was 17. And I asked myself, why? Why is this happening to me again? 51% of survivors of child abuse experience domestic violence as adults. I was devastated, in agony, crying uncontrollably on the hospital bed, having stitches covering the scar from the first. And then I remembered myself in the box in the shed. And I remembered the child who dreamed of another life with such determination. In that space of absence, of love, I realized that I could choose myself, that I was worthy of love. On the 18th of May, 2018, I got married to myself. I vowed that day that I would learn how to love and protect myself and take seriously the gift of being alive. I am now 6 years self-married, and my life has changed radically. And I learned that everything I ever needed to heal my life was already here inside of me. 3 nights ago, I wrote a letter to my child self, the one in the cardboard box in the shed. And this letter comes with a message to all the people who have experienced child abuse and to all the children who are experiencing it still today. Dear child, I wanted to tell you that how you are being treated does not reflect on who you are. It is not your fault this is happening to you. How it makes you feel is real. Tell someone if you can. Look for the ones who will help you. They are out there. I know how much this hurts right now, but trust that your life has a meaning. If you have to bury your pain to survive, make a promise to dig it up while you're still young. Stay alive. Do not let the darkness swallow you. Know that you have so much more strength than you can imagine. You are resilient and you can survive this. Do not forget the innocence of your heart. Do not forget that there is joy in this world. Believe in the possibility that you are a miracle. If there is no one who can help you and no one who listens, celebrate yourself. Tell yourself your secrets and dreams. Do not let them out of your sight. Draw them in books, mark them on walls. Dream of a life you cannot yet see. You can do anything and be anyone you want to be. Know that this is possible. Whatever is happening around you, in your home, in your school, this is all only temporary. There is a future where all of this ends, and then you choose. You are worthy of love. You matter. Stay alive, because you are not alone. And we need you. You are needed in this world. And you will be safe, and you will be loved one day. Do not give up. You're going to make it. I believe in you. All my love, Ria. We'll go this way.